or a chilled and laid back and relaxed one, this. Now, to be fair, I was going to knock this on the head completely, making videos. I'm kind of done with it, to be fair. Now, I don't get many viewers, it's obvious. And I put things out and they go out into the world like a wet fart. And I get a little bit, you know, despondent, a little bit downhearted because of this. And then I say, oh, forget it. And then I'll get some bright spark, some new idea, and I think I have to say this. I have to say me piece. Now, it doesn't really matter, does it? None of this matters. Our days are meaningless, really. But I thought I'd jump on and talk briefly about heartbreak. Now, I'm talking as a guy. I can't talk for the ladies, they're on their own trip. But I know personally that I've had problems my whole life because of ladies and me chasing my dick around. And it's going to be vulgar, this, because it has to be. It has to be truthful and as honest as I can possibly make it. So, I've never particularly been faithful. Now, why is this? A, it's because of the childhood I had and what I saw, what I witnessed with my own eyes. But also it's because when I first started dating, I was being used by the ladies. I was getting dumped. I was making myself look foolish and falling all over myself in love and being an idealist and silly and then getting hurt. And because of this, because of what I witnessed with my own eyes, it made me act a little bit, I couldn't be trusted, basically. Now, I don't trust anybody, and I'm saying anybody. And I don't remember reading in the Bible, trust everybody. I've never read that. Is it in there? If it is, let me know, show me. Because I don't trust anybody. And I've got a good reason not to. It's because most people in my life they've let me down. They've stabbed me in the back. But the biggest reason that I don't trust anybody is I can't trust myself. I'm the kind of cat who will wake up and say, I'm not going to eat chocolate today. No chocolate for me. And then by midday, I'll start thinking about Kit Kats and Crunches. And before you know it, I'm over at the co-op buying multi-packs. And I'm gorging, I'm pigging out on chocolate. And I'll go, oh dear, I've let myself down again. I can't trust myself. So, you can't trust me. Nobody can. Now, I'm one of these guys, they'll say he's a nice guy. I get friend zoned, all that kind of business. And I'm okay with that. I'm alright. Because at this point in my life, I've kind of given up on the idea of ever settling down with a woman again. Why? Because they've proven themselves to be shady and not to be trusted and liars. And because of this, I'm happier. I'm actually happier now by myself than I've ever been. Because in a relationship, I get depressed. I get morbid. I get miserable. And it's because I stop living my own life and I start living theirs, doing what they want to do, trying to please them, trying to make them happy, and then realising I can't do it. And then when I can't do it, I can mardy. I can be a right miserable bitch. And when I get like that, I don't like it. I don't like me being like that. I don't like getting jealous, suspicious, not trusting. I don't like that. But it happens, and it's any relationship I've ever had. It's basically boiled down to that. Me asking too many questions. Me saying, I don't believe you. I think you're a liar. And then, the lady eventually say, whoa, I can't do this. I've got to go. Bye. And then dumping me. I've been dumped God knows how many times. And now I, I find it rather amusing. Now, the first proper girlfriend I had, proper one, was when I was about 19. And she was a right piece of work. And I knew this. Now, I wasn't remotely attracted to her, but I worked with her. I used to work in a nightclub with this lady. And every night she was with a different guy. Getting pissed. Getting finger blasted on the fucking dance floor. All this kind of business. And now she used to come up to me and try it on. And I'd say no. And I meant no. Like, I'm desperate, but I'm not that desperate. And then one night, what a bad night this was. She threw a house party. And everybody from work went. And I went too. And I got pissed. And I'm talking pissed. And stoned. And she came onto me. And she's kissing me and biting me and nibbling on me and having a little grope and having a little feel and all of this kind of business. And it led to the bedroom. Now, there was a party going on. And I'm in her bedroom, about to get it on. And a good friend of mine, now I didn't take him to be a good friend at the time, but in retrospect, yes. He knocked the door and he came in and he said to me, "Can I have a word with you?" Now, he was older than me by a considerable amount of years, and he pulled me to one side and he said, "You're pissed. You're stoned. You're off your tits. What are you doing with her?" Now, I'm like a dog with two dicks at this point. And I'm saying, look, I'm in here. I'm going to do this. And he's pleading with me, the guy. He's saying, please, come home with me now. Let's go. Let's leave. I'll give you a lift home. Get the fuck away. What are you doing? And he got rather aggressive about it. Started getting up in my face. And said, you are making a big mistake, boy. You don't want to do this. Did I listen? Did I fuck? Now, he gave me a Johnny. He said, use this, whatever you do. So, I didn't use it. And I went with the lady and we got it on. And then, I started to get all these feelings. Started to really get attached to her, knowing she was a slut. And I couldn't help myself. And I didn't want everybody at work going, oh, he's used her, because people had. They'd run a train through her. And I was the latest, and I didn't want to be like the rest of the guys. So I was like, no, I shall stick it out with her. And we went on a couple of dates. Now, I knew I was in the shit. We went back one night to her house, but on the way we stopped off at the pizza place. And she knew the guy who was serving. She'd probably shagged him before. And he said another one about me. And I'm stood behind like a prick. And she's looked over her shoulder and laughed and said, no, he's just a friend. And my heart sank. I was like, dearie me, I've caught feelings for this one. This whore. Now, I went back to her house and we got it on. And I stayed with her for nearly a year. And people would say to me, she's a dirty piece of work. She's filthy. She's disgusting. I saw her last night doing this. I saw her last night doing that. And I'd call her up. Now, we're going back. This is before mobile phones. And I'd call her a house. And she wouldn't answer all night. And then the next day, she might pick it up. And I'd say, where were you last night? Oh, I was tired. I went to bed early. And I didn't believe her. And she kept talking about this guy at work. Red flag. Now, relationships in the workplace. We'll get to that in a little bit. Anyway, when she finally dumped me, now she had to dump me because I was impossible. I was a nightmare, and I started to become quite nasty and always pointing the finger. And I was always in a lull and down and despondent and miserable. And people would say, what's happened to him? And it was because I knew what she was doing, and I couldn't prove it. I just couldn't prove it, even though people kept saying I saw her out last night. She was with another guy, and I'd pull her up about it, and she'd say, "There's something wrong with you. You're insecure. You're possessive. You're jealous. You don't trust me. There's something wrong with you. It's you. It's your dirty mind. You're filthy. It's you. You're projecting onto me. I've not done fuck all." And like I said, I became impossible. And one evening, I gave her what for. I called her all the names under the sun. Now, I was out of order. I was pissed. I was totally drunk. And I started to push her. I did. I started to provoke her and push her. I started to get really angry. And it hit me like that. This is somebody's daughter. This is somebody's granddaughter. This is somebody's sister. Who do you think you are? And I withdrew. I was like, "Yo, I do apologise." That's the closest I ever came to beating a woman, wanting to slap the shit out of her. And I thank the Lord. Now, it'll have been Jesus tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "This is somebody's daughter that you're mistreating, being nasty to." And she eventually dumped me, but she dumped me because of my mouth and the way I treated her, and I was nasty to her. And she kept talking about this guy at work that she was working behind the bar with at another place, because she left where we were working together. She moved on. And again, reports were coming back to me about them two being thick as thieves. And I knew her reputation. I knew she was a slut. When I went back to her house, it brings to mind the Prince song, Little Red Corvette. I felt kind of ill when I saw all the pictures of the jockeys that were there before me. Her wall was plastered with guys that she'd met on nights out, guys that she'd shagged, and we're talking all kinds of guys, all different colours, all different shapes and sizes. And she would honestly admit that she'd been a bit, fresh, a bit fruity in the past, but it's all behind me now, that kind of stuff. And I was foolish to believe her. Now, because I didn't trust her, I was out shagging. I was cheating. I was putting her about and doing all that kind of business. And when she dumped me, I was at my lowest, and we're talking as low as it gets. Completely miserable. What's the point in anything? I'm so depressed now. And I went round in a funk. And it lasted for about a week. But it was a bad week. It was a nasty shit week. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about how low it got, but it got pretty fucking bad. And then I met somebody else and started shagging again, and I moved around and got stuck in. But I told myself I'll never ever fall for a woman like that again. I never want to feel like that again about any woman, ever. And, crying, being at work and, excuse me, making excuses and fucking off to the toilet to cry. Sitting on the toilet, oh dear, I wonder who she's with, I wonder what she's doing, and all this kind of stuff. Now, I did meet up with her about a month or so after, and the feeling had gone. I was like, dearie me. And she admitted that, she'd been with a couple of chaps since. It didn't bother me because I'd already moved on at that point. Then I went on to have other relationships, more important ones, longer ones, obviously, longer than that. Relationships that lasted for years. But I never got that down again. when a woman dumps me, I don't get down, I don't get blue about it, I don't get depressed. Instead, I thank the Lord and say, good, I can move on, I don't want to be with you. Now, I've been dumped by text. I've been told outright, I don't want to see you again, we're done. And that'd be the end of it. And you can't help feeling a little bit blue, of course. And, there's that old saying, if you want to get over somebody, get under somebody. And it's a horrible thing to think like that, but there is some kind of truth to it, especially for a man. And I just start playing the field. When a woman dumps me, I just move on and I get stuck in elsewhere. And I have a laugh. And I can have a laugh with the ladies and not care who they're with or what they're doing, as long as it doesn't become serious and them say to me, you and I are exclusive now. I don't know, I never want to hear those words again. You better not cheat on me because I wouldn't do it to you. And it's like, oh, dearie me. You're talking to somebody who doesn't trust anybody. You're a fucking idiot because you're talking to me, and I'm never ever going to trust you. And I've got my reasons not to. Now, there's a certain ex of mine that words got back to me that they're online slagging me off, making videos about me, calling me names, saying he was off his head, telling stories about me, mentioning me by name, this one. And I've got no ill will towards him. I've moved on. I don't really care. I find it all a little bit sad. I wouldn't do that. That's a new level of evil to me. I couldn't go on here and start naming and shaming anybody from my past, because I haven't been perfect. And they certainly haven't. So to get online, if I was to sit here now and start telling you some of the things, some of the games that have been played on me, some of the capers, some of the things I've had to witness, some of the, and we're talking shocking shit, evil, nasty stuff that I've had to witness and I've heard. And I've felt, more importantly, I've felt it in my bones. That sinking feeling like, oh, fuck. There's something off. There's something wrong. Now, I used to be a prodigious pothead. I don't smoke weed anymore. That's not to say that I never would again, but there were times when I knew I was losing the plot and getting extremely paranoid. And the pot became my only obsession. It didn't, nobody else, nothing mattered. As long as I could go off and get baked, everything was all right. That's all that mattered to me. Getting stoned. And I thought it was like the perfect drug for me. This is perfect, this. This was made for me. It calms me down. It gives me, hope. It gives me ideas. It makes me want to do stuff. It encourages me. And I started to look at it as a friend until I realised what kind of a friend it was. And I was like, oh shit. I'm in trouble deep now because I'm hooked on this. And all the other relationships in my life have gone to shit because of this. Now they call it weed, don't they? Weed. And it's because it takes over everything. People think it's, they call it a gateway drug. It wasn't a gateway drug for me. But it was all I needed. It was all I wanted. I'd go to work just to earn enough money to get high, to get baked. And then couldn't face anybody unless I was stoned. And I started to feel like Gollum with the fucking one ring. Hiding it under fucking, in caves, hiding away like a little crackhead, like a junkie. And being pathetic and weak and narrow-minded and not fun, that. Now, I've been talking to somebody recently and they'll know who they are if they're watching this. And they're going through a little something. And all I can say is don't look back. Don't go back. Don't ever do it. It's done. It's finished. Like I said, I've been dumped plenty of times. And there's a sense of relief. Now, there'll be a reason why you've been dumped. There was with me. It's because you made it so they had to dump you. They had to, because of the way you were. And you knew this. You knew it at the time. You knew that no one could put up with this. It's impossible. I'm impossible. I'm hard work. I've been called too much, I have. You're too much. And I am. So I know better now than to get in a relationship, a serious one, with anybody. Instead, I'd be like, you do your thing and I'll do mine, and that's the way it has to be. Because I don't trust you. I never could, and I can't, and I won't. More importantly, I won't. How can I trust somebody when I can't trust myself? Now, these people that I've been involved with in the past, I ain't got a bad word to say about them. Not on here. I've got nothing bad to say about them, and all I can say is, God bless and all the best, and hope it goes well for you. Bye. I'll move on. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. The greatest blessing, in a way, it's a blessing in disguise, is to be dumped, told, fuck off, boy, don't want to be with you anymore. That's the best thing you can hear. That's like, okay, I know where I stand now. Bye. I'll do my thing. I'll do what I have to do. And it's when you start looking back with rose-tinted glasses and, remembering the good times and how fantastic everything was. And it's like you're forgetting how shit it was. You're forgetting, the nightmare scenario that was your fucking relationship with this person. How crap it was, how poo it was, how bad you felt. And I'm a loyal person, believe it or not, even though I said, like, I've cheated. I've done that, I've cheated in the past. But only as a last resort when it's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't dump you. So you're going to have to dump me, so I'll give you a reason to dump me. And then take the bait, and that's it, game over, bye. And it'd be the best for everybody involved. So don't get too despondent when somebody breaks your heart and fucks off and leaves you in the shit. I've had it, and I'm still here, I'm doing all right, and I'll continue to be okay. Now, I went through a breakup recently, not that long ago, just, we can say in the last few weeks. And, like I said, best thing that can happen. Because it's like, okay, I get to work on me now and not be your carer. Not be worried about you and what you're doing and how you're going to go about your business. And certainly don't get worrying about who they're with or what they're doing. That's nothing to do with you once they've dropped you. Once a lady said, I'm done, bye, finished, gone. Let that be the end of it. Block them if need be and move on. Now, like I said, there's somebody online slagging me, an ex, and that's okay. I don't mind that. Somebody said recently, they said, have you seen what she's doing? She's making videos about you and calling your names and saying this, that and the other. And out of curiosity, I had a quick look and found it to be the most... It was sad. It was actually sad to see it. I was like, dear gosh, I've not seen this person for years. Not seen them. Not seen them in the flesh. Not spoken to them. No communication whatsoever. And they've not moved on at all. They're still the same person. They're still the same dickhead. They're still nasty and evil and pretending to be something that they're not. And lying and cagey. And like I said, that's okay. No resentment from me. No malice. No maliciousness. No bad feelings. Just, oh dear. How sad. I'd have hoped that this person would dump me and get on with their lives and move on up. But instead they've wallowed in self-pity. And they're looking to blame. And they're looking to shift the blame and move it around and play the victim, which is a sad thing to do. It's a sad way. Now, again, every relationship that I've had that's come unstuck and gone to shit, there's things leading up to this. There's clues, there's pointers, there's signposts saying it's all going wonky, it's shit, it's crap. And then I have to back away. I have to give less of myself to that person and slowly just remove myself away from them and let them fuck themselves up rather than keep dragging me down into the bullshit. Now, every relationship that I've had that's gone to shit, good things have happened afterwards. One door closes and 100 other doors open, 100 other possibilities, 100 other things that I could do, people to meet, things to do. It's been fantastic. So like I said, you won't find me sad. You won't find me in a grump or fucking depressed, feeling blue and feeling bad. I really, genuinely don't give a fuck. All I can say is, God bless, and I hope you get better. And I hope you grow up and stop slagging me off by name. What the fuck? I find that to be absolutely heinous. That's an evil shit thing to do. How nasty. And like I said, I haven't got any ill will towards anybody. But the idea that somebody's online making videos about yours truly and, dragging my name through the dirt. And, I'm a different person for a start off. You don't even know me anymore. You've got no idea. You don't know what I've done. You don't know what I've been through, who I've been with, how I go about my business, how I live my daily life. Haven't got a clue. Fucking clueless. And I don't know what you're doing or how you're getting on, other than what you're telling me in your videos. And I didn't want to watch these videos, but I couldn't help but bend an ear when I heard you're getting fucking slacked. And like I said, I listened and watched, and I couldn't for too long. I've got to turn it off. Bye. I can't even listen to it. Because I'm the kind of person that, when I look back, I think, what was I ever doing with that fucker? Now, there was one love of my life. And we procreated. We had children together. And that was meant to be. And then it ran out of steam. It was game over. But the best thing happened. We brought beautiful children into the world. But every other relationship I've had is pointless. No point in it whatsoever. Now, again, we're talking about trust. I know better than to trust ladies or men around ladies, because I know what it's like to be, like I said, like a dog with two dicks. And I don't care if you got a boyfriend. I don't care if you're married. I want to get my end away. And that be all that matters. Now, I'm talking about the way I used to be. I'm not like that anymore. I've learned my lesson. I learned to stay away and keep out of mischief, stay out of trouble. I'd rather play with my machines. I'd rather play with myself. I'd rather play any other game than that. I don't want to go to the grave being a menace and just chasing my dick around and, trying to get laid all the time. And being pathetic and being weak and, sad and being looked at as a desperate, loser. I'd rather not. Instead, I'd rather just remove myself from the situation and have a good time. I want to have a good time. I want to enjoy myself. But like I said, I've learnt better than to pretend that I can stay faithful when I know I can't. Or, to be with a woman who's she with? Is she really doing what she's saying she's doing? Is she really honest with me? Is it just me? Am I the love of her life? Does she... Done. It's too tiring. It's impossible. It's boring. And I don't like myself in relationships. In fact, I end up hating myself because I end up being too passionate. And passion leads to all sorts of bother and, saying things I don't want to say. behaving in ways I don't want to behave, doing things I don't want to do, being pathetic, stalking, online fucking stalking I've done. Oh, let me Google this person, let me see. It's sad, it's fucking really sad. So, I know you're watching, I'm talking to this, a guy, I'm not going to name you, I don't name names. I know better than to do that. Even though, this is my truth. I wouldn't do it, but I know somebody's watching who's going through some shit. And all I can say is hold your chin up, hold your end up. You'll get through this. And don't get looking back with rose-tinted glasses. Work now on you, on yourself. Be the best that you can be. Do the best that you can do. Because you're going to falter, you're going to fuck up. We all do. So, I'm praying for you. And I hope that your recovery is a blessed one and everything runs smoothly. And that you learn. You're learning. You're always learning. That's what we're here for. We couldn't make it to heaven in our current state. It doesn't matter how much of a, true believer you are. If you were that fantastic, you'd already be up there, wouldn't you? You're not there yet. We're here to learn, and we're learning every day. And I'm the kind of person that makes fuck-ups, says stupid shit, regrets things. I have my moments of weakness. I have my moments where I can be led around by my nose. I can have my nose wide open for a lady. And no, she's not the full ticket. And get myself into trouble. Now, we're talking about trust. I know lots of ladies who are in relationships. There might be... I don't talk to married ladies anymore. To stay away from the married ones. Even if she comes that caper, or we're just best friends, we haven't shagged in years. Any of that, don't listen to that. That's bullshit. Don't listen to it. So if she's a lady and she's in a relationship, let's just say that you're talking to someone and she's got a fella, but she's always flirting and, double entendres and, showing you a bit of this and a bit of that, and just know she'd do the same to you. I've been that guy. I've been the guy who was new on the scene and turned up and saw the ex and how pathetic they were and what a chump, and felt sorry for them and been like, fucking dearie me. I've been embarrassed, but I've cringed watching them, been around them, been exasperated and been tired out by the cringe and gone, oh dearie me. And then I've become that guy. I've become the guy that other people come up to and say, what's the matter with you? She's making a fool of you. You look like a fucking plonker. And I know it. I've become a sad sack. I've become a total fucking loser. And like I said, you're better off without. You're better off by yourself. You're better off sleeping in a fucking skip than living in a fucking mansion with a fucking moody bastard. You're better off. You're better off without all the drama. Now I'll leave you with this. That's the realisation I came to. That I was hooked on the drama. The highs and lows, the ups and downs. We're on, we're off, we're back together again. She's dumped me. Oh, poor me, oh dear him. Oh, she wants me back, yay. Oh, who's she fucking been shagging since I last spoke to her? What's she been about? What's she doing? Again, I've been there so I can talk from experience. You don't want to be that fucking sad sack. You don't want to be that plum that people laugh at and make jokes about and say. He's fucking pussy whipped. He's been bamboozled. He's been hoodwinked. He's sad now, and it's shit. It's depressing to see, and he's got no sense of humour. He used to be a jolly chap, and look at him now. He's despondent, and he's given up. He's given up. You don't want that. You want to grab life and live it and do it and feel the blessings, not living in sin, not doing things that you regret immediately. Oh shit, I've done that. I've gone back to that. Like a dog, licking up sick. It's fucking bad. It's a bad way. So stay chipper, do the best you can do, and stay on the narrow path. And you're going to falter, we all do. We're not monks. I've heard about these Tibetan monks, half of them are junkies. So, and don't be passing yourself off as perfect. Oh, look at me, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't do this, I'm better than you. Don't live like that. We're all, fallen creatures. We're all, you can't trust me. You can't. You don't know me. How can you when I don't know myself half the time? Like I said, I can be the kind of guy who'll say, no fap, I'm not watching porn. And the next thing, I'm trawling the internet looking for, pictures of ladies in the nuff. It's fucking sad. It's a bad way. Anyway, I'm going to shoot off. But, like I said, this video's for one particular person, and I hope it finds you well, and I hope you're doing alright. And anybody else that happens to be watching or listening, God bless you. And don't be fucking evil. Don't be slagging people off online by name. You can't do that. Now, you'll have seen from my previous videos, I take my videos down and make them private, and also it's because I feel bad. Even though I'm slagging people off who went real. I'm the kind of guy who could slag Superman off and then get a fucking guilty complex and be like, oh, I don't want to put that out in the world, so I'll take the video down. So now I'd rather just not make videos that are about things like that, because I know I'll start to feel poo about it and then it'll be a waste of time. It's just a waste of effort. I'd rather do this. I'd rather be honest. But again, I'm not dragging anybody into the shit. I'm not pointing anybody out. And I certainly wouldn't tell tales about my dad or my mum online. Even though, I could. I could sit here and slag everybody off. I could. I could say, well, when I was a kid, this happened, this happened, this happened, that happened, that happened, that happened. No wonder I was fucked up. It's not my fault. It's them, what they've done. That's why I'm bitter. That's why I'm resentful. That's why I'm stuck. I'm in the shit. I've stalled. My life's in the fucking ditch. No, that ain't my way. I'm moving on up. I'm happy. You get pockets of happiness, don't you? And I'm the kind of guy who reaches in and grabs hold, and I'm thankful. I'm blessed. I'm one of the chosen ones. So I've got to keep rocking and rolling. So throw up the praises to the one who amazes. Always is night and days. Okay, sis. Anyway, I'll catch you again. Like I said, I was going to give up making videos, but I had to do this. I might make this one private too, because that's just the way I am. And I'm not doing this for clicks or likes, or I don't want to grow a fan base. I couldn't handle the attention. I couldn't. I'm too sensitive. I'm too much of a softie. So when someone recently left a comment saying your channel's shit, and I started spiraling. I was like, has it all been a waste? What? But I have to be tougher too. I have to get stronger. And I'm realising as I go that it doesn't really matter. As long as I'm putting a smile on one person's face, making one person think a little bit differently about their lot in life and about what they're going through and their struggles, and maybe helping them and pointing them in the right direction. I'm doing my job. I'm doing the best I can. Alright guys, God bless and catch you soon. Bye.